The Oak-Hair Goddess, circa 640 to 630 BC. This is a prime example of Greek sculpture from the Archaic period, which was circa 600 to 479 BC. This is known as a core, which is a female grave marker or idol, and it is 65 centimetres tall. It's made of limestone, which was often used in these circumstances. It's very stylised sculpture, which can easily be seen from the long extended hands and fingers and the oversized face, and also the large feet. It shows that it used to be coloured due to pigment found in some of the chasing, and this is a representation of what it might have looked like once. The Oak-Hair Goddess is also based off Egyptian sculpture, which can be seen in the hair and the pose and the stiff rigidness of it, especially when compared to other Egyptian sculpture from just before this time. Chasing can be found on the skirt and on other places as well. Next we have the Critian boy, who is also archaic, and he was made in circa 490 to 480 BC, and he is a kouros, a male grave marker or idol, made of marble. He has a more lifelike body shape than the Oak-Hair Goddess, but still has a stiff and rigid pose. He is stepping forwards, with one hip ever so slightly raised. You can see his face has a bland expression which will continue until the Hellenistic period, and his eyes were once filled with jewels. This is the Aphrodite at Knidos, circa 350 BC. She's made out of marble, and although a Greek one was made, only Roman copies are left that show the naturalistic view of the body. It uses perfect proportion, and that beauty equals good, and has a contrapuntal pose. There is a difference of texture between the flesh, the pot, and the fabric draped over it, and also chasing on the hair, and the same blank expression. Aphrodite at Knidos is classical, and is a very closed pose. It is more lifelike and freestanding, which means it can be viewed from all angles. The Doryphorus, or the Spear Bearer, circa 440 to 450 BC. It was from the classical age of Greek sculpture. A Greek original was made, but only Roman copies survived, and it shows the perfect proportions theory. It's standing in a contrapuntal position, with one hip slightly raised, and there is chasing on the hair. It's freestanding, which means it can be viewed from any angle, and it shows that harmony is beauty, and that beauty means you're good. It has different textures and would have been polished so it shines. The Discus Thrower, made circa 450 BC. It's from the classical era, and it is made of marble. It shows a contrapostal pose with a lot of S shapes, and it shows the perfect proportions, although it does have a slightly exaggerated pose. It's quite lifelike. It shows different textures on the hair, and shows study of anatomy, but it still has the same bland face that all of the sculptures have had so far. Demosthenes. The date this was made is unknown, but it's made in the Hellenistic style and period. It's made out of marble, and it has a very closed pose, which also is known as a contrapuntal pose. On the marble, there is different chasing and engraving techniques to show the different textures between the skin, the hair, and the cloth. It's a freestanding sculpture, which means you can look and walk all around it and see it from different angles, and it shows a lot of dignity. It's old, but not ugly, still maintaining that beauty means good. Woman dancing. The date for this is unknown, and there are many copies. It is made of bronze, and it is under Hellenistic sculpture. The swathes of fabric create an illusion of movement as to the S shape, and the figure can be seen underneath the fabric, showing study of anatomy. It's a contrapostal pose, which are the S shapes, and it can be seen from all angles as it is freestanding. The frieze from the Zeus altar. This was created in 2 BC and was inspired by the victory at Samothrace. It is from a temple to Zeus. It's done in the Hellenistic style and shows clear study of anatomy and uses different textures. It's very high relief, it really stands out from the background marble. It shows different angles and proportions, and a lot of different positions as well. You can see contorted figures and figures that wouldn't be seen as beautiful, and it shows the different textures between the skin, the snake, and the hair. It's a very dramatic thing, and it shows realistic anatomy.